Imagine waking up every morning feeling completely in control of yourself. You're not distracted by fleeting desires, doubts, or fears. You rise with purpose, knowing that every action you take today will be a step closer to the highest version of yourself. This is not just a dream, it's a reality that can be built through samurai discipline. If you're tired of being stuck in cycles of procrastination, self-doubt, or bad habits that hold you back, then this is the lesson you've been waiting for. This lesson comes from Bushido, the 800-year-old samurai code that forged warriors of unshakable discipline and mental strength. The samurai lived by a strict set of principles that not only made them masters of combat, but more importantly, masters of their own minds. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to apply the samurai code to your modern life, eliminating weak habits and transforming yourself into someone who lives with purpose, integrity, and discipline every single day. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our life-changing content. Now let's dive into the samurai mindset and start eliminating every weak habit in your life. The samurai were not born with an extraordinary ability to withstand hardships or master their emotions. In fact, they faced their own weaknesses, much like you and me. But what made them different was how they chose to handle these weaknesses. They didn't just passively accept them or blame external circumstances. Instead, they adopted a code, Bushido, the way of the warrior, that would allow them to not only survive, but thrive through adversity. The first thing you must understand is that weak habits are not simply a matter of character flaws. They are a symptom of an unbalanced identity. If you find yourself repeatedly failing to break a bad habit, the problem is not the habit itself. The issue lies in who you believe you are. Do you see yourself as someone who is disciplined and strong? Or do you see yourself as someone who constantly falls short? Bushido teaches that who you are determines what you do. If you identify with weakness, your actions will align with that identity. If you identify with strength, your actions will reflect that. But there is a secret to changing your identity, and it begins with the samurai's most powerful principle: self-reflection. The samurai didn't wait for success to come to them. They actively sought out opportunities to confront their weaknesses. In fact, they sought out discomfort and struggle because they knew that true growth only happens when you push yourself to the limits of your comfort zone. This is the exact opposite of what most people do when they want to break a bad habit. For most people, the first sign of discomfort, whether it's emotional, physical, or psychological, is enough to trigger a retreat. They give up, they quit, they allow the discomfort to stop them. But the samurai didn't see discomfort as a roadblock. They saw it as a sign of progress. How often have you stopped yourself from trying something new or breaking a bad habit simply because it felt uncomfortable? This is where the samurai mindset differs from modern thinking. They didn't view discomfort as something to avoid. They saw it as something to lean into. It's easy to see why. The samurai knew that every challenge was an opportunity to forge themselves into something greater. They weren't afraid of pain because they knew that pain would shape them into a sharper, stronger version of themselves. The second principle: embrace discomfort as the path to strength. Now, let's talk about the second principle of Bushido: embracing discomfort. The samurai didn't just endure suffering passively. They embraced it, seeing it as the pathway to greatness. When was the last time you allowed yourself to experience something uncomfortable for the sake of growth? Most of us shy away from discomfort because we associate it with weakness. But the truth is, discomfort is the most powerful tool for growth. When you train your mind and body to endure discomfort, you become resilient. You develop strength, and you begin to build unshakable confidence. The samurai knew that everything worth achieving required pushing through their natural instinct to seek comfort. Every battle they fought, every challenge they faced, was an opportunity to strengthen themselves from the inside out. In your own life, you must ask yourself, what are you avoiding? What discomfort are you running from? If you want to break free from your weak habits, the first step is to consciously choose discomfort. Push yourself to act when your instincts tell you to retreat. Seek out situations that challenge you, and do not shy away from the growth they bring. The third principle: never lie to yourself. In the samurai code, honesty wasn't just about being truthful with others. It was about being brutally honest with yourself. The samurai didn't make excuses for their weaknesses. They looked directly at them and accepted them as part of their journey. But they didn't stop there. They actively worked to eliminate the weak habits that held them back. How many times have you tried to justify your bad habits to yourself? Maybe you told yourself, "I'll start my diet tomorrow," or "I'll work out next week." The samurai would never tolerate such self-deception. They knew that honesty with oneself is the first step in eliminating weak habits. You can't fix what you won't acknowledge. This principle of brutal honesty doesn't mean beating yourself up or focusing on your flaws endlessly. It means having the courage to look at yourself and acknowledge where you are falling short. Once you recognize your weaknesses, you can begin the process of transformation. The fourth principle: build your identity through consistent action. One of the most profound lessons from the samurai was their ability to build their identity through consistent action. Action creates identity. This is a concept rooted in neuroscience and supported by modern psychology. The samurai didn't rely on motivation to build their discipline. Instead, they focused on building habits that reinforced the identity they wanted to create. For example, you might be struggling with procrastination, telling yourself, "I'm just not disciplined enough." But this thought is creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you tell yourself that you are undisciplined, the more you reinforce that identity, and the more likely you are to continue procrastinating. The samurai understood that identity is built through actions, and consistent actions, no matter how small, are the key to transformation. If you want to be someone who is disciplined, you don't start by feeling disciplined. You start by taking disciplined actions, even if they are small. Over time, these small actions compound, and you begin to identify as someone who is strong, focused, and committed. If you're ready to break free from your weak habits and transform into the person you were meant to be, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for more practical, life-changing advice that you can apply right now. Let's now take a deeper dive into the final principles of Bushido and how they can transform your life, eliminating weak habits and making you more disciplined and resilient. These principles are not just theories. They are time-tested strategies that have been used for centuries by some of the greatest warriors and thinkers in history. The fifth principle: the art of detachment. One of the most challenging yet rewarding principles of the samurai code is detachment. But this doesn't mean the kind of detachment that makes you cold or indifferent to life. This is about being free from the attachments that weigh you down. Attachment to comfort, to approval, to the image you think you need to uphold. Ask yourself, what are you truly attached to? Is it the comfort of staying where you are? The approval of others? The need to be seen as perfect? Attachment to these things is what keeps you stuck. You can't break weak habits if you're constantly trying to avoid discomfort or fearing the judgment of others. The samurai knew that true freedom came from releasing attachments. This doesn't mean you give up your goals or stop caring about your values. It means stopping the constant need to cling to things that don't serve your highest purpose. Every day, practice letting go of something unnecessary. Let go of the need to please everyone. Let go of the need for external validation. Let go of the false belief that you need to be perfect. By doing this, you will liberate yourself from the chains that hold you back, enabling you to live with more clarity and focus. The sixth principle, the power of consistency. The samurai did not rely on bursts of motivation. Instead, they focused on consistency. Consistent effort was their key to mastery, not just in combat, but in all aspects of their life. Small, deliberate actions over time lead to great success. Do you find yourself starting strong, but eventually giving up on your goals? This is where the samurai mindset will change your life. They understood that mastery comes from repetitive, focused action, day in and day out, no matter how small the task seems. Rather than focusing on big, overwhelming goals, the samurai focused on the small, consistent actions that would bring them closer to their purpose. In fact, the samurai would often break their goals down into tiny tasks so that no action was ever too daunting. Whether it was practicing their swordsmanship for an hour each day or studying strategy in their free time, they made consistency their habit. If you want to break weak habits, the same principle applies. Focus on the small, daily actions that align with your goal. Instead of trying to overhaul everything at once, commit to small, consistent changes each day. The cumulative effect will be extraordinary over time. The seventh principle, the pursuit of mastery. Mastery was a central tenet of the samurai mindset. They didn't aim for mediocrity. They didn't settle for being just good enough. They aimed to master their craft, their mind, and their body. Whether it was their swordsmanship, their meditation, or their ability to remain calm under pressure, the samurai saw every challenge as an opportunity to improve and evolve. In your own life, are you simply trying to get by, or are you truly striving for mastery? When you aim for mastery, you eliminate weak habits because mediocrity becomes unacceptable. If you want to develop confidence, discipline, and unshakable willpower, you must set the bar high for yourself and dedicate yourself to constant improvement. Think of every day as a chance to hone your skills, confront your weaknesses, and push yourself to new heights. Whether you are learning a new language, building a business, or transforming your health, approach it like a samurai. Commit to continuous improvement and aim for mastery in everything you do. The eighth principle, finding purpose in everything you do. For the samurai, purpose was not just a concept. It was the driving force behind everything they did. Whether it was a battle, a training session, or a quiet moment of reflection, they were deeply aware of their purpose and how each action served that purpose. Their lives were not just filled with tasks. They were filled with meaning. How much meaning do you find in your daily actions? How often do you stop and reflect on the purpose behind what you're doing? The samurai understood that when you have a strong sense of purpose, everything you do has meaning. Your actions align with your values, and your commitment becomes unshakable. You cannot break weak habits if you are living without purpose. Without purpose, you will feel lost and unmotivated. But when you connect your actions to a higher purpose, you will find the strength to break free from the habits that are holding you back. Purpose gives you clarity, direction, and the will to act. The ninth principle, living in the present moment. The samurai also understood the importance of being fully present. They didn't dwell on the past or worry about the future. Instead, they focused on what was right in front of them. the battle they were fighting, the task they were completing, the conversation they were having. This is a practice that most of us struggle with today. How many times have you caught yourself ruminating over past mistakes or worrying about the future? When you focus on the past or future, you become disconnected from the present, and this disconnection feeds into weak habits. To break your weak habits, you must learn to be present. When you stop worrying about what's already happened or what might happen in the future, you give yourself the freedom to act without fear, guilt, or self-doubt. The samurai lived fully in the moment, knowing that the present is all that truly matters. As you begin to apply the Bushido principles to your life, remember that it's not about perfection. It's about constant, purposeful action. Today is the beginning of your transformation. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more life-changing content. Now, it's time to take the first step toward eliminating weak habits and becoming the warrior of your own life.